Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Fave, and today we are on part 3 of my process of how I painted this. So let's jump in and get started. Okay, so final details. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of my red here for the boot strap. Oh, and I wanted to do the top of the boot there. It was supposed to be white, but I forgot. So we can always add that with our white gouache or whatever you have. So let me just do that quickly. Might mix it with a bit of buff titanium to have the same color white as the bottom of the boot. Or I'll go over it with buff titanium once I do the white. And then I'll do the red stripe. I'm going to add a little bit of white to the tip of the boot here for highlight. That. Okay, now I want to continue with the final shadows of the jacket, and this is where they're going to be a bit more defined. They're not going to be as blended out. So I'm going to grab my color and I'm going to mark in those shadows. So right on the inside here. That. We can kind of go back here and do these ones again a bit more. Any kind of seams on the jacket. One thing that you have to also keep in mind is when you're doing this, try not to lift color, right? So you got to be so gentle with your strokes, because sometimes, especially some papers, it can be really easy to lift layers underneath if you're scrubbing too hard. So just keep that in mind. Be aware of your paper. Okay, and it doesn't have to be exactly stroke for stroke. Okay. And I'm not using a ton of paint. Okay, it's another trick is you just never want to use too much color and paint and water, especially water, because water does repel paint at times, so you don't want it to be, you know, super dark or super wet, because then it will push away some of that pigment or even lift it, and you do not want to lift it. In some extra dark shadows. And then there's like little creases here and there. Like so. Okay. And then the pants, I feel, just needs a little bit more intensity. Just a tad bit more. Just some of those creases, just a little bit of extra darkness. Okay, any other areas where, like, see how the boots meet the pants? There would be a bit of more shadow right in there. A bit more paint. Okay, we're kind of things intersect each other a bit. Let's get that red over the top here. There we go. And that's kind of, I think, about done. Now, if I wanted to do the pattern on top of the jacket, I would get gouache and probably my yellow. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that with like faster in a time lapse. I'm gonna do that at the end, but I just kind of want to do a little bit of a background, just especially the ground here. So what I'm gonna do, just to make it a full kind of piece, I'm gonna grab some brown for the ground because he's on the sidewalk. And I'm just gonna wet back here because I want to do the shadow, oops, underneath him. Oops, touch the boot a bit, that's okay. Just so it looks like he's standing on the ground. Making sure it's nice and wet. And then I'm going to go back in with some darker brown right under him, because that's where the shadow is from the puddles. And it just adds a little extra something to it, right? Where it's just not like he's floating in midair. And it doesn't have to be realistic. That's not really the focus of the painting. I just want a little bit of shadow down there so it looks like you can see that puddle. And then I'll go a little bit even darker right underneath the boot. like that. Like, how cute. I mean, I could do more behind here too if I wanted. Just a lighter wash. Just extend it a little bit. Okay, so I did decide to do the little dinosaur kind of things. I'm not even really fully drawing dinosaurs at all. I'm just kind of doing general little squiggles and kind of things that look like tails. The one thing I will say is that so I mixed my bleed-proof white ink with some yellow, and any of the areas that were in the shade, like in the shadows, I added a little bit of Paynes gray to darken it. So this color. So it looks a little bit more dull, the ones that are in the shadows, okay? And then the ones that are touching the highlights are lighter yellow. And I'm just kind of doing these little random shapes, barely dinosaurs. And then parts that are kind of cut off here, like in the little creases, I'm just doing like half of what would be a shape there, and then putting the rest in the light. And like, you really don't have to do a ton of detail for this at all, just to give a little bit of a pattern. And I think it works. I think it works actually pretty well. I was a little nervous. I'm like, am I going to ruin this if I do it? But it's going okay. So I'm just literally doing little squiggles. And if they're touching a light part that's in a highlight, it's the light yellow. And if it's touching a darker part, it's a darker mixed with Paynes gray yellow. Okay, so it just kind of helps maintain those shadows so they are true to what they would be, like that. And that's it. Okay, so now I think I'm done. I am kind of toying with the idea of like greenery in the background, like very loose. I might do that. You know what? Why not? We're already here, right? I'm just going to grab all the greens in my palette back here. And I'm just going to fill it in. Like, there's trees. And it's very loose. It's out of focus, so it doesn't have to resemble real trees back here at all. And that is it. So, yeah. Okay, now I think I'm, like, basically done explaining any other little bits. So I'm just going to grab, like, dark greens, light greens, and just kind of have them very loosely bleeding in the background. But that's it. That's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you guys are interested in more tutorials like this. I know this one was a particularly very long one. It's hard because I know a lot of people request real time, and they want real time. They want all the instructions. And then some people like time lapses. Maybe I'll get my husband to edit a time lapse too for people who just like the sped up version and don't want the whole shebang. And then the people who want to see the whole thing real time, you guys can watch that too. Maybe that, I'm just talking out loud now. But that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you're interested in more videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.